didn't mix too well. She was a very funny person. So anyway, I got this phone call. My sister called me, and I was in Los Angeles, and said, Mom and Dad have been in a car wreck, and Mother is dead. And Dad is dying. And I, of course, was falling apart. But all I knew was I had to get there. And I got there, and my sister and we were all sitting in this waiting room, and we were sobbing. And as I'm crying, I said, my sister's here, and I wasn't looking at her, but I said, where were they going? And she said, to a Halloween party. And I said, what were they dressed as? Why would you ask this? Why would you? And she said, the Odd Couple. And I said, oh. And I'm thinking, what Odd Couple? Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon? Well, what were their costumes exactly? She said, Mom was a black girl and Dad was a Ku Klux Klan member. We started laughing. And the whole family, I guess, had heard this conversation, and we all started laughing. And it was the greatest.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz. Talk About It Tuesday edition. Oh, how lovely it must be to sit and be racist and laugh about being racist as, your racist mother dies and your racist father is dying. But what more could you expect from a homophobic, transphobic, bigoted Trump supporter who also happened to be a Scientologist? Oh, that's right. But we're supposed to honor her and not speak bad about her ill-gotten thoughts and her ill-gotten beliefs and stances. And the fact that even Hollywood didn't want her around for a while because she happened to kick the bucket yesterday. Once again, let me remind you all that talking ill of the dead refers to lying about someone who is deceased. It's not talking ill of the dead when you say what they've actually done. There is an update on this Shanquilla Robinson murder case. It is actually linked in the description of the video. It is the very first video. It is more intricate and detailed, so I left it there instead of trying to break it down here. You can pause and go watch it now, watch it later, watch it as many times as you want, but it will be right there for you. And now we have an update regarding the Idaho murders trial. Here we go.
The two surviving roommates from the Idaho murders, Dylan and Bethany, did write letters that a pastor read out loud at the Celebration of Life ceremony yesterday. This video will be the reading of Dylan's letter, and then I'll make a separate video for Bethany's.
To Xana and Ethan, the two best friends but perfect pair together. They had this unstoppable, loving relationship. They both would look at each other with so much love. Everyone knew they were the perfect duo. They both had this fun, passionate, crazy, but good energy. They both were the kind of people who cared about everyone and would help anyone. Xana was the life of the party. If she was there, it was going to be great. But Xana was so much more than a girl who could just have fun. She was strong, intelligent, hardworking, and a beautiful person. Xana was taking this math class, a class I was also taking, and the amount of effort and hard work she put into that class was the only reason I tried to pass it. She would constantly uplift me and tell me I could do it. Xana was also a very big people person. She could make a conversation with anyone, any friend and any parent. She loved the parents, especially the moms. Everyone that got the chance to know her loved her. I was and am so lucky to have experienced a life with her as her being one of my closest friends. I didn't know Ethan until this semester. I wish I would have gotten to know him more. He was so sweet and loving to Xana. Xana was like his whole world, and you could see it in him. While Ethan was like a friend, he was also like an older brother to me. I got to experience what an older brother would be like. He was this goofy guy who I could make sarcastic jokes to. Every time I saw him, he'd give the sarcastic jokes right back. He was also loving to my friends and to me. He cared like Xana about everyone. I know somewhere Xana and Ethan are together keeping each other company, watching us and telling us it's okay and that we have each other. Maddie and Kaylee, the inseparable duo. The two best friends that were like sisters. Maddie and Kaylee were like second moms to me. They taught me a lot on how to be a responsible adult, but also how to live life happy. They changed the way I look at life and how to enjoy life to the fullest. Maddie was the cute ray of sunshine. She didn't ever have a negative thought in her mind. I don't think I ever have seen Maddie stressed about anything. This happy-go-lucky kind of girl who loved life to the fullest. I got to know Maddie last year and loved her when I met her. And then I got the chance to get closer with her this year. I'm so lucky to have gotten to experience life with her in it. She had this passionate love for everyone. Everyone who knew her got to feel her love. She was so compassionate to everyone and wanted everyone to be happy. She got this new hot pink puffy jacket and wore it everywhere. She was a very big pink color kind of girl. She would do this cute little skipping dance every time I saw her. She just had these cute little mannerisms that I loved. She was such a beautiful person inside and out. She had pretty much her whole life together. I miss seeing her little dances when we would go out and seeing her laugh and smile. I loved seeing her smile because when she would smile, you could see her eyes and her little button nose smile too.
May they continue to rest in peace. I do have an additional update. Per the father of one of the victims, it appears that the person who entered the home went upstairs and they are not sure if they ever went downstairs. As we learned yesterday, the attacks on the two young ladies were far more brutal than any other. It has been heavily insinuated by said father that one of the young ladies, and they were found in the same bed, was the target of this attack, but still no one knows why. Let me say this to the general public. If you knew any of these victims personally, do me two favors. One, take the time to sit down and really think about what you know of them truly. Not what you infantilized about them, not the person that you made them out to be in your mind. Who they were truly, who they were around truly. This is not the time to keep secrets. This is not the time to change the narrative of who they are. And in no way I'm saying that anybody here was a bad person or a bad character. I'm not. But a lot of times people see you how they want to see you and not how you really are. And when something happens to you, they made this promise to protect all of your secrets, where one of those secrets could have led to your demise. But if you know them, once you've done that and you've come to terms and you've been honest with yourself, please reach out to authorities with everything that you know. This is not speaking ill of the dead. This is not, oh, I told her secret. Oh, I told his secret. Secrets do not matter in times like this. And you have some more information regarding the Moore County blackout. There's 2 videos, so y'all know how this goes. I'll see you in 2 and 2.
The FBI joins an investigation into the intentional attacks on multiple North Carolina substations. Some people are claiming that the targeted gunfire. The FBI joins an investigation into the intentional attacks on multiple North Carolina substations. Some people are claiming that the targeted gunfire was made in an attempt to cancel a local drag show. So what's the latest on the investigation? Brute can explain in less than 60 seconds. A state of emergency and mandatory curfew were implemented after 40,000 people were left without power due to gunfire damage at 2 power substations. Law enforcement firmly said the motives for the vandalism remain unclear. On social media, however, some have started to question whether the attack was a deliberate attempt to cancel a local drag show. In a press conference Sunday, the county sheriff addressed the rumors, saying anything is possible, but that law enforcement had not been able to tie anything back to the drag show. At the time of the publishing of this video, no suspects have been named, and the county sheriff declined to say if the act was being considered domestic terrorism. Local officials say fixing the substations will cost millions, and full restoration of power may not be possible until late this week.
Let me start by saying Let me start by saying that this video is for educational purposes only, to inform the public about things that are going on in this country. First of all, everyone's heard about the Monroe County power outage that was done intentionally. And I just want to kind of speak on that and another event that happened in Ohio real quick. Now, a woman by the name of Emily Grace Rayner, who is a former U.S. Army psychological operations officer, posted this after the outage. The power is out in Moore County, and I know why. She got some pushback on Facebook because this impacted a hospital, and her response was, "I am not happy that innocent people could suffer, but chastisements always affect the good with the evil. The good news is the truly innocent will suffer temporarily, and the wicked will experience God's justice eternally." Jesus. Now, the local sheriff claimed that he was looking into this lead, gonna rule it out that she didn't have any involvement. And this is how it went.
An individual that put some information on Facebook that was false. We did, and I urge the citizens, please don't put false information out there. It takes time for us to run that down. And yes, we had to go and interview this young lady and have a word of prayer with her. But it turned out to be nothing. So,
a former Army officer that worked in the psychological operations unit says she knew why the power was out, but because the local sheriff prayed with her, it was nothing. Okay, next.
Now the sun goes away, it gets a little cold. This conversation never happened. Fine. Don't. Stay down. Good. Check out who you are.
Very friendly with the white furnace there.
Go ahead. Thank you. Take care. There's only a small amount of idiots out there, so good. Onward to victory. Onward to victory.
Amish lives matter? What the fuck? Now, see, in Ohio, a drag time story hour was scheduled to go on Saturday, December 3rd. On Saturday, when kids aren't in school, and if anyone went to that event with a child is because their parents made the decision to take them, which is their fucking right to do. Yeah. And this woman had a lot to say about it. This woman. I don't like to bring up Handmaid's Tale, but if you saw the beginning of it, people that look just like these men were in it.
Out of all the police investigations that I've covered, out of all the police interactions that we've all been able to witness and some even engage in personally, I've never had a police officer, one, not say the suspect or the potential suspect or just refer to someone as their name, but this young lady, and then sit down and say they prayed with someone. All I will say is I'm very happy that the FBI is looking into this, because if you recall last night, this woman led over 100 people from the same county in North Carolina to January 6th to participate in the insurrection. Now, I told you yesterday that the jury was deliberating in the Trump Organization trial, and coming from CNN.com, Trump Organization found guilty on all counts of criminal tax fraud. A Manhattan jury has found two Trump Organization companies guilty on multiple charges of criminal tax fraud and falsifying business records connected to a 15-year scheme to defraud tax authorities by failing to report and pay taxes on compensation for top executives. The Trump Corps and Trump Payroll Corps are were found guilty on all charges they faced. Donald Trump and his family were not charged in this case, but the former president was mentioned repeatedly during the trial by prosecutors about his connection to the benefits doled out to certain executives, including company funded apartments, car leases, and personal expenses. The Trump organization could face a maximum of $1.61 million in fine when sentenced in mid-January. The company is not at risk of being dismantled because there is no mechanism under New York law that would dissolve the company. However, a felony conviction would impact its ability to do business or to obtain loans or contracts. And Trump is already having a hard time collecting loans because he's defaulted on so many loans. More specifically, the massive loans that he took out from Deutsche Bank and the collateral that he used to secure those loans. But as I explained last night, this is ideal that it came back guilty because this is like a full steam ahead push regarding the other indictments on the way and potential and future prosecutions of not just the Trump organization, but Donald J. Trump himself, Donald Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Jared Kushner. Just at the top of the echelon. So, yeah, looks like the beginning of the year will be quite eventful. And I think now you understand why Trump sycophants such as Marjorie Taylor Greene want to begin in January by investigating everything and everyone else except Donald Trump. And just like we learned last night, he did not disclose a hefty loan that he secured from Korean banks. So, oh, he'll definitely be held accountable. Let's not forget, he still has the Department of Justice, and because last week I informed everyone that the special master is no longer involved in the Mar-a-Lago top secret documents case, so there's no longer a holdup. They don't have to go through a middleman to go through the documents, question witnesses utilizing the documents, and go forth. So, yeah, him announcing his presidency, his presidential campaign did nothing. But dumb is as dumb does. Now, you ever wonder why you can see someone stealing from a store and nobody runs after them? Here's a prime example as to why you shouldn't do that. Sympathy's out to the family, but this is
An
why.
83-year-old Home Depot worker has died from his injuries 6 weeks after being shoved to the floor by a serial shoplifter. The shoplifter was stealing $800 worth of pressure washers. Murdered over $800 of stuff.
Now, there's a lot to unwrap here. At 83 years old, still working, that says a lot of horrible things about the United States, number one. Number two, if this person was a serial shoplifter, why had they not yet been trespassed from the property? And as much as companies love to have surveillance footage running, why was someone not dedicated to watch it and contact the authorities once this trespass person came through? 3, at 83 years old, why were you chasing someone down? Why was that your thought? For a company that's going to keep moving, they're not shutting down for a day. No one's coming to your funeral. No one's putting in on you. They already have your position listed on Indeed. They already have a help wanted sign out. Like, why risk your life for pennies on the dollar? And before people go, well, his family can sue. Sue who? Sue his casket? He made that choice. And dear family, why was this 83-year-old man working at Home Depot? Either he was a piss poor individual with bad financial standing, or his kids, grandkids, and great grandkids ran through his money lying to him, or he always worked minimum wage and didn't have an opportunity to save money, or he was covering medical bills and nobody else helped him out. Why at 83 was this man not chilling somewhere sipping mojitos? Sorry to sound cold-hearted, but it is what it is. Because ain't no way. Now, here's a little information that you probably didn't know regarding the assassination and the subsequent investigation into President John F. Kennedy.
I don't
Take a
think
look.
y'all understand what's supposed to come out. I don't think y'all understand what's supposed to come out in 10
Well,
days.
there's nothing want to play tonight.
I don't think y'all understand what's supposed to come out in 10 days. There was this president, his name was John F. Kennedy. He was sort of murdered in front of everyone. And then after that, the guy who took his job hired all of JFK's personal frenemies to investigate what happened. And the CIA was like, it was Oswald by himself. Then after a little while, we found out all the sketchy shit the CIA and FBI have been up to, and the new government was like, we should probably look into the Warren Commission, huh? So the House Select Committee of Assassinations did look into the Warren Commission, and they deemed what they found to be so fucked up. They're like, shit, hide this until like 2029. Everyone involved in this has to be dead before the public can get this. So then Richard Stone made a movie in the 1990s and was like, hey everyone, they're hiding a bunch of stuff. So then laws changed. All of it was supposed to come out last year, but it didn't, and now it's supposed to come out this year, the last 15,000 documents.
So now finally, all of the staunch, hardened JFK assassination conspiracy theorists can find out if they were on the right track, the wrong track, if they're more Inspector Clouseau than Inspector Gadget. But we will see how much of it will be unredacted and available to the public, because every time that they say they're releasing something, that does not mean that it's going to be released completely unadulterated and unredacted. But my thing is, can we finally release out to everyone how Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Sr., well, at this point, the second, died? Can we stop teaching children that he died on that balcony of a gunshot wound? Can you finally release how Mr. Passe Blanche himself, the first head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, fervently was trying to slander him because he had internalized racism and a whole lot of self-hate, as well as internalized homophobia for someone who was so in love with his boyfriend and had mommy issues to the point where he couldn't survive or live without her or separately from her? Are we finally going to reveal the actual history of the racist doctor that smothered him to death in that hospital? No, we're not. We're just going to keep going round and round about JFK? Okay. Okay. I guess Camelot for life, huh? Or are we finally going to reveal the truth about how Marilyn Monroe actually... Oh, okay. Okay. No, Dr. King was killed by a racist white doctor in the hospital. They teach everybody that he was shot. Now, Jesse Jackson, a little sketchy. More than likely told the original shooter where to find him, and we're pretty certain he encouraged him to go out on that balcony, which was a bad idea, but you know, it is what it is. Now, McConnell and McCarthy were ignored while honoring those that fought to protect the Capitol during the January 6th insurrection. Oh, let's have a chuckle at their expense. Now, if you notice, McConnell and McCarthy are standing right next to each other. Not only did everyone refuse to shake either of their hands, they didn't even take the medals from them. Imagine being honored for putting your life on the line to protect others, and you're supposed to be presented with a medal, but you refuse to take the medal because of how heinous and complicit the people who are supposed to hand them to you are. Now I know that the vast majority of the GOP has no idea what humility is or holding someone accountable is. They just know how to make up shit and get you to look to the right when you should be looking to the left. But, Now, if you remember, everybody is so concerned about the LGBTQIA plus community, specifically right now, this week, drag queens. Now, a couple weeks ago, everyone was still up in arms about bathrooms in the trans community. Well, once again, something did happen in a bathroom, but not how you think.
They've been saying it. They've been saying it. They have been warning us that this would happen. And you know what we said? We said all along, we said there was nothing to it. There was nothing to it. We have told them there was nothing to it, but they kept saying this kind of stuff would happen, and it happened in Knoxville.
Well, that doesn't add up. Not to all the fear stoking and everything that I've heard for years. Why, this guy doesn't look at all like what I was told to be scared of. He kind of looks like mayonnaise militia. Not saying he is, but he certainly does have that lonely white guy vibe who can't get laid, so he tries to film dudes at urinals for quote-unquote later self-gratification. I wonder what kind of culture can shame someone into a corner for their desires to make them act out like that.
Okay, in the background, I have the Georgia runoff playing. So if there is a final count by the time we wrap, I will let you know. Thus far, it looks like Warnock is up 50.4% to Walker's 49.6%. Come on, Georgia. You're better than this. But we'll stick a pin in that and circle back around in a minute. But that creator made a perfect point. These Christian nationalists, these tyrannical individuals are trying to get their constituents to be so focused on marginalized communities that are just trying to live their lives that they're completely ignoring the subgroup of incels whose entire mission is to make women uncomfortable, is to make women completely submissive to them, to be dominant over them, to basically use us women and femme-presenting individuals as literal slaves, sex slaves, etc. These are people that are so self-hating because they've been raised up in that mindset of everything is a sin, everything is bad until you hit puberty. Then she doesn't know what she's missing in you. She's missing out. You're a catch. You're the winner. She would be lucky. So now they feel obligated. And because the women that they're crushing on, that they in no way actually qualify to date, aren't looking their way and fawning over them, they're purposefully putting together websites and going to the dark web and all these groups and apps to meet up, to teach one another and encourage one another to film, abuse, rape, and terrorize. But yeah, let's be worried about some people who put on some wigs, some makeup, and lip sync to music and do choreography on stage. Because, that makes sense. Back to the runoff election real quick before we get into this season's ad. There have been so many registered Republicans who went in to vote that admitted that they only voted for Herschel Walker because he's a Republican, yet they believe that Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock is a better candidate and has done better as a senator. This is why you've never heard me say vote blue no matter who, vote the ticket. No, vote for the best candidate. Research the candidates in your area and vote for the best one. Think of how ridiculous it is to want a certain person in office knowing that they would do better by you, but you were so loyal to a party that shits on you every chance that they can and tries to take away as much as they can from you. And you knowingly vote against your own best interest. See, they're taking that haze away where people think, oh, they just don't know that they're voting against their best interests. Yes, they do. They want a sense of loyalty. They want a sense of belonging. Hence the fact that we call the GOP a cult. Because what do you hear regarding every other cult that you hear about? I joined for a sense of belonging. And that's when you're the most vulnerable and the most easily manipulated. Doesn't matter how educated you are. On the streets, book-wise, doesn't matter. If you are frantically and cloudedly searching for acceptance, any amount of attention will become intoxicating to you. It's no different than the abused child clinging to the abuser. But let's get to this month's ad, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
The start, back in 1938, Charles Addams' original cartoon was meant to be a dark satire of the modern aristocratic family. So instead of being obsessed with dressage and, the fineries of life, the Addams family was spooky and obsessed with the occult. When ABC launched their show in the 60s, they of course lightened everything up, and instead of them being spooky, they became kooky, and the kids were pretty fun. Then in the 90s, when Barry Sonnenfeld directed his version with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston and of course Christina Ricci, he really allowed that dark subtext to come back, even though it was still a fairly comedic overtone. Christina gave such an iconic performance as the stoic Wednesday Addams that's the version that is cemented in the modern zeitgeist. And so when Tim Burton comes in to bring the spooky back, this is what we get. And it's pretty great.
See, this is what you have to realize. When a lot of things were first presented to the silver screen, aka the big screen, or the smaller screen, it was to make people forget about wars, recessions, the fact that they were popping barbiturates and drinking Coca-Cola with actual cocaine in it for a long time. Give them a moment of levity to fantasize about a life that they wish that they could live. People were already angst. People were already depressed. That's why you got the more comical, comic book based cartoons and characters. And then when they started going back to their origins, people are like, why is it so dark? Why is it? It's always been dark. It's always been dark. They just lightened it a little bit so that during the dark times, once again, in this country, people wouldn't just jump off the nearest building. Like, truly, that's, and like, how can you listen to the iconic theme song of the Addams Family and think that they were just chilling and cracking jokes all day? Now, Elon Musk has been going through left and right, kicking people off of Twitter, but not really addressing the influx of hate speech. So, coming from Fortune, Elon Musk might have kicked Kanye West off Twitter, but the Anti-Defamation League says the CEO needs clear policies, not personal intervention. Twitter's chief, Elon Musk, suspended Kanye West's account last week after the rapper, known legally as Ye, posted a photo of a swastika inside the Star of David. That's not why he kicked him off. All he did was remove the picture. He didn't kick him off then. He kicked him off when he showed that unflattering picture of Elon. Let's be completely honest and clear in our reporting, Fortune. But let's continue. The Tesla billionaire previously chose to reinstate West's account that was suspended for anti-Semitic remarks in October before Musk took over the social media platform. I tried my best. Despite that, he again violated our rule against incitement to violence, Musk wrote. But despite his decision to remove West, individual judgments on what qualifies as hate speech from the richest man in the world do not make a coherent content moderation strategy, according to the Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt. We all want to give Elon an opportunity. No, we all do not. We all do not. But he's got to show some progress. That man ain't showed a progress in decades. Like, the last time he showed progress is when he learned how to walk and talk. That was the last progress. Okay. Greenblatt told CNBC on Monday, he personally intervened about Kanye and took that account down. He personally intervened with another account a few weeks ago that was promoting anti-Zionist hate. That's great, but we need clear policies, not personal intervention. That was a whole lot of words to say. Until you personally offend Elon, you can say or do whatever you want. There is no content moderation because the whole team was fired. Elon Musk is not some intellectual genius. He is not a tech genius. He is a bully that buys companies, goes to court to have a little asterisk put by his name so he can claim to be a founder of something. He got rid of the entire board of Twitter so he could be the lone wolf in charge. He has an ego problem. That's why he gets into fights with other egotistical megalomaniacs on the internet. This is someone who puts profit over everything, including his own children. This is a man who took to his own platform to lie about a child of his that died of SIDS. This is a man whose own child legally changed their name to no longer be associated with him because he would rather put his stock options above everything else. Because let's not forget, that's how he pays himself. And to keep Twitter afloat, he keeps having to sell off stock options from Tesla that he fought so hard to be looked at as the founder of. But you know, that's what you want to believe. That's what you want to believe. Now, this next story, there is a more in-depth and longer version of this interaction linked in the description of this video. But for the sake of time, I've got these two clips just as a synopsis of what was going on, and we'll talk about it. Y'all know, see you in 2 and 2.
Is your camera on?
It is.
I'm the police chief in Tampa.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you'll just let us go tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll say you. Now that you say you look familiar, so.
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
It happens when a police officer pulls over the chief of police.
Tampa's top cop has been placed on administrative leave after she flashed her badge, apparently using her status as police chief to get out of a traffic stop.
After the deputy proceeds to explain to them why they were being pulled over, which, by the way, was because they were driving a golf cart on a public road without the appropriate tags, this happened.
Is your camera on?
It is.
I'm the police chief in Tampa.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you'll just let us go tonight.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, folks. Well, have a good night. Oh, all right.
If you ever need anything, call me.
Okay.
Serious.
All right. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Oh. You know, I don't know what's funny in that video. First of all, I think it's crazy that she asks if the officer's body cam is on before incriminating herself. Right? Because what was she going to do if the body camera was off? Oh, it's not recording. Quick, dog, whapping over the head. Let's get out of here. Just hit him. And secondly, I love how she does that thing. Like, if you notice it, she does that thing that white people do where they act like it hurts them to pull rank over you. You see that thing where she's like, do you know, it turns out I'm the chief of police. Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but I am. White people love doing that shit. Yeah, they'll be at a hotel like, can I get a late checkout for my room? Be like, I'm sorry, sir, we can't accommodate you. Oh, but I do own the hotel. Yeah, I'm Brad Radisson. Yeah. That's what I love about black people. There's no pretending. You know, black people aren't pretending that it pains them to wield their power over you. They'll just tell you. Be like, sorry, sir, we can't do a late checkout for you. Like, late checkout for me? Bitch, I own this hotel. Shit, I check out when I want. You gonna tell Daquan Radisson when he can check out of his own hotel? I tell you, you can check out. Now, after this video came out, the mayor of Tampa suspended this police chief. And because of the pressure, she was forced to resign, which can I just say is the biggest waste of a scandal of all time. This is what you use your power. You realize there are police chiefs who have stolen millions of dollars in drug money. Meanwhile, she's out here like, yeah, I pulled some strings and drove super slow on the highway. True story.
Now, here's the thing. There are individuals that are like, oh, she didn't commit a crime. She wasn't driving. She wasn't drunk. This shouldn't have happened. Maybe somebody in the department snitched because she does this all the time. Did you catch how she was networking? How she was setting up the quid pro quo? This is not how things should be happening. You shouldn't be able to avoid a crime because you're a cop or you know a cop or you're dating a cop or you're married to a cop or you're related to, no. And for those that are like, a crime wasn't committed, there were no tags on that vehicle, and it's a golf cart where they openly admitted that they went to the club and it was closed. So then they went to go get some shawarma, and now they're going home. And the fact that she did ask if the body cam was rolling, he said, yeah, oh, okay. Imagine what she does when the body cam isn't rolling. And we all know that tone. Well, I'm sure I do look familiar to you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. Because let's not forget, right? Well, it's in the early stages of the trial, but remember the case for Ahmaud Arbery. And the gentlemen were originally not going to be prosecuted because of their connection to the district attorney at the time. See, this is where that quid pro quo can get you. That, remember when I didn't tell them about this? Remember when I didn't ticket you for this? Remember when I didn't give a damn? See, people think that these are just, oh, well, you know, she's the chief. She should get some perks. Dunkin' Donuts will give them free donuts. I'm sure Starbucks will give them a free cup of coffee. There's your perks. Most companies have like discounts cards for other companies. There's your perks. not avoiding being held accountable for criminal actions. Ugh. Okay, looking back at the Georgia Senate runoff, we're at 80% in. Walker's taking the lead, 50.1% to Warnock's 49.9%. Come on, Georgia. Don't make me lose faith in you. Don't let this be the night the lights go out in Georgia, please. Oh, a lot of people don't recall that. And they're just now remembering due to her trial now coming up after it's been so delayed. Now, I've discussed Associate Justice Alito before, where it's come out because a confidant revealed that he's the one behind the SCOTUS leaks. But this makes my blood boil a little bit. Take a look at this video, then I have an article, then we'll discuss it.
Justice Jackson's example of the Santa in the mall who doesn't want his picture taken with black children. So if there's a black Santa at the other end of the mall and he doesn't want to have his picture taken with a child who's dressed up in a Ku Klux Klan outfit, that black Santa has to do that?
No, because Ku Klux Klan outfits are not protected characteristics under public accommodation laws.
And presumably that would be the same Ku Klux Klan outfit, regardless whether the child was black or white or any other characteristic.
Yeah, you do see a lot of black children in Ku Klux Klan outfits, right? All the time. Suppose that,
Oh, wasn't he so funny? Yeah. Because the little black and brown children love to culturally appropriate white supremacy. Ugh. Anywho, coming from the Hill, Alito jokes about black kids in KKK outfits during Supreme Court argument. Yeah. Justice Samuel Alito made an apparent joke on Monday about black children in Ku Klux Klan outfits during Supreme Court oral arguments on a case involving a Colorado web designer who did not want to provide her services for same-sex weddings on religious and free speech grounds. During the arguments, Alito sought to make a point about who could argue they should not have to provide service under a Colorado anti-discrimination law by discussing a black Santa Claus at a shopping mall. Alito, a conservative justice who authored the summer ruling overturning the Roe v. Wade decision, asked if that Santa would be required to take a picture with a child dressed up in a Ku Klux Klan outfit under Colorado law in question. He did so after Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson raised the question of whether it be permissible for a Santa at a mall to refuse to take a picture with children who are not white. So if there's a black Santa at the other end of the, well, you know what, y'all heard it. Here's the thing. All of these pretentious gotcha moments that these idiot conservatives and bigots have are not the gotcha moments that they think that they are. But the dumbest person in the room always will talk as if they are the smartest person in the room because they believe that they are the most manipulative. And this is a Supreme Court justice. This is why we should change the parameters in which you can become a Supreme Court justice. And speaking of this lawsuit that they're taking a look at, this is a preemptive lawsuit. Not sure what I mean. Y'all know I got an explanation for you.
The Supreme Court's back in session, so they're trying to fuck us again. This time they're going after gay people's rights. There's a lady in Colorado who is suing because she doesn't want to make gay wedding websites. Funny story, she doesn't currently make any websites for weddings at all. But she was thinking about doing it, so she's preemptively suing to make sure that no gay person could ever ask her to make them a wedding website. That's right. So the thing is I'm reading all these fucking news articles about it, right? And nobody in the media is talking about the fact that this lady has the design taste of fucking truck nuts. It's bullshit bad design. Her website is all over the fucking every article about the court case. Her website is officially evidence in the Supreme Court. So what I'm about to show you is not doxing. This is her website. Look at this. Look at her this is her symbol. This is her company. Do you know what? I want you to show you something. Look at what this says to you. Does that say O? Does that say C? Does that say Islam? That's supposed to be a 0. It's 303 creative. Look at this. What in the fucking Squarespace, Canva, Instagram motivational post bullshit is this? Oh, look here. I wrote my own fucking bullshit right here. State rep. Here's a fucking good quote. I splashed some color on it. Like, look, here she is herself. This is the woman suing. And look at me. I'm doing all sorts of cool stuff. Let's look at her portfolio real quick, all right? Oh, sorry, that's just Bible verses against tattoos. I apologize. I know that this part of the Old Testament doesn't apply to your fucking mentality anymore. Let's look at her portfolio. Oh, look at this. Look at the fucking burlap sack fucking stupid mason jar horse shit that you know that she would tell you should do for your fucking wedding. The Ray Dunn horror that's coming off of this site. Look at that. Look at the fucking pun. Hebrews Coffee Cafe. Get it? Because Jesus was a Jew and Hebrews the coffee. This fucking horse shit over here. If I had a friend of mine who was starting a fucking business, right? And they showed up to me and said, look, I'm going to be a realtor. And they told me they paid for this logo. I would tell them to file bankruptcy immediately. This is a grift. This is another grift like all the other conservative grifts inside the culture war. This lady is a middling bullshit graphic designer who claims graphic design is her passion, but clearly uses Canva and other fucking websites and then just copies those things and prints them and then charges for consultant fees. And the Republicans are paying her.
Also, a website for your wedding is not an eternal website. You're not going to keep it for years and years and years. And all of the wedding planning websites offer you a free standalone website, even for people to RSVP to your wedding. There are wedding consultants and wedding coordinators that will give you a link, that will create a website for you for free, that is temporary, leading all the way. But I love that she put up Bible quotes against tattoos and she's tatted. 303 is the area code for Denver, Colorado. You're a private business. There was no reason for this preemptive lawsuit, especially for it to go all the way up to SCOTUS. Just say you don't want to take it. There have been plenty of people to reach out to me, because most people have no idea that I'm Black nor a woman. And I have turned down their business because it does not align. And I am a firm believer that not all money is good money. Hence the fact that I am still in business for as long as I have been. I don't need a website to just say, no, I'm sorry, we are not a good fit for one another. But that cookie cutter BS. And she's like, I want to make website. Who is getting married and going to pay a graphic designer and a web designer? Because she said she was a graphic designer, not a web designer. Pay attention. Who is going out paying someone like me to create a whole website just for their wedding? I don't care if you're taking 5 years to plan this wedding. What are you going to update this website with? In the day and age of WhatsApp, social media groups, see, one thing about bigots, they're going to create situations and scenarios in their mind that they will swear up and down are currently happening. Now, remember yesterday I showed y'all a video with the young lady just giving a synopsis regarding what true allyship is? Well, I found the video. Take a look.
It's not a calm situation. It's maybe calm for you because you don't give a fuck. Because you think you have the right to tell whoever you want to come in, but you don't. You said on the phone, I have the right to tell whoever to let in. No, you don't. You don't have the right to discriminate in this country. It's a crime.
For reservation.
On the basis of race. Do you? Do you? Yes or no? Do you?
My brother done into
This is what happened.
Okay.
This man right here, Tabiso, came in yesterday, okay? Moments after Jordan came in. Moments after, okay? Your bouncer stopped him and said, why are you going in? Who are you going into? Okay? He said, why are you asking me? He said, you can't come in here unaccompanied without a white person. He said, what? He said, you can't come in here without a white person. If you come in here, I know what you like. You steal, you guys cause trouble. You need to come in here with a white person. He asked him, who decides this? This is what the bosses have told me. Then Jordan, not knowing where Tabiso is, goes out and sees the bouncer re-explain this and says it to him again and says, it's not me who decides, it's the policy. Now I'm sure if this had to fucking get out, there's a lot more people that have experienced this. This is firstly a crime. I'm not done speaking. When I'm done, I'll give you an opportunity. It's firstly a crime in this country. Do you know where you exist? You exist in South Africa, where we have a deeply painful history of this shit. Secondly, this shit will fucking blow up. An institution like Hands, you're known. You're not a fucking somewhere in the middle of nowhere. You can't be fucking doing this shit. You will become like cliques overnight. You have protesters outside your fucking door. Do you think this is alright? Is this the practice of the business? Is this how you decided and instructed your fucking bouncers to do? Speak. You clearly know about this.
Well, listen, we've been trading for 8 years. We've never had an incident ever before, and I can speak for our barman, and we've got an eclectic. I mean,
what are you saying? Address the issue.
Just hang on a second.
Eclectic. What the fuck?
We've never had a race issue here before. Is that correct, Danny, or not?
Nothing that I've been aware of. So what does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?
I'm building up to.
He's aware of this. He's aware.
Isn't it amazing that these are their beliefs that they stand so strongly on until they're confronted by them? Then they stutter and, we'll address it. But if you think that owner's BS was just top tier excuse making when it comes to racism, no. Wait till you hear this new reason for why racism should end. If centering were a person, take a look.
I'm so sick of people saying that white people cannot be victims of racism. So I've made this video to explain exactly why white people can be victims of racism. Now, if you listen very carefully, you can probably hear that I'm actually from South Africa. So we have a long history in South Africa of racism. But people sometimes think that white people in South Africa was not victims of racism. But let me explain exactly how we were, in fact, victims of racism. You see, when you think that your value as a human being comes from your skin color, you stop trying to be a good person in other ways. So during apartheid, we were told as white people that we were better than black people. And some people, they start to think that that means that you are automatically better. It doesn't matter what you do. So we had white people in South Africa who were raping people. We had policemen who were taking people off the street and torturing them and doing the worst things you can imagine. And they walk around thinking, I'm white. I must be okay. I must be good because my skin makes me good. You see, if you are a racist, you are a victim of racism because you stop growing as a person. You stop seeing other people as fully human. And you look at the black man and you think, I'm better than him because of my skin. But what actually happens is the black man that you abuse and oppress, he grows and he learns and he becomes a better person because he has you as an example of what a terrible person is. And then we get someone like Nelson Mandela and he comes out of prison after 27 years and he's better than any white man in the country because he's learning the whole time. And the white racist sits there and thinks, I don't have to learn because I'm white. I'm automatically good. and you become the biggest victim of racism. You become a fucking idiot. So all my white brothers and sisters, man, we've got to get rid of this racism. We are not growing as people. We are not becoming the people we should be because we think that our value comes from our skin color and not from the way that we treat other people. Do not be a victim of racism. Do not be a racist.
Tripping with white saviorhood, white fragility. And let's end this because it affects, hold on, wait a minute. Woo! Lubricate. First and foremost, to come up with a hierarchy based on race so that you can hide your mediocrity means that you started off as a bad person. A non-white person does not need you to be the example as to what a bad person is. We've all existed. We've existed without you before. We know good because we know evil. We don't need you as an example. You refuse to grow and learn because you all pat each other on the back for mediocrity, and you make each other wealthy and famous and infamous for being mediocre. We're not learning and growing to be better people. We're adapting. We are adapting for survival and surpassing you. Because we know we have to work quadruply as hard to even be noticed for the bare bones minimum. But I love how you insinuate that white people were affected by them raping and torturing and all these things. You ignored the trauma that is inflicted. It sounds very much, well, what were the black people wearing? You can fight against something that you have never experienced without centering yourself and deciding that the only way you can eliminate something is because it may potentially make you look better. If you need participation trophies or Boy Scout, Girl Scout patches, join an AAU league or go become a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout. In the realm of reality, you're not oppressed. You do not suffer from racism. The systems of oppression that were put into place to ensure that you succeed. If you do not succeed in spite of that, you've worked hard not to succeed in spite of that. But you cannot cut the oppressed out of the situation and the dynamic of racism as your excuse, as your reasoning, for why you should end racism. I swear sometimes y'all make my whole soul itch. I swear. I swear. Okay, with 91% in the Georgia Senate runoff, Senator Warnock is back up 50.1% over Walker's 49.9%. Looks like we still have a ways to go. I am going to sign off over here. Going to grab something to eat, and then I will catch you all over on TikTok, where I will keep you updated until the final tallies come in. As always, thank you for joining me here on Conversations with Taz, especially here on Talk About It Tuesday. I will be with you all tomorrow with my lovely co-host Chris for Get Into It with Taz and Chris. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow.
Hold on. I got something to show you. So DHS warns of domestic terrorism threats to LGBTQIA, Jewish and minority communities. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear, oh, this is just some woke stuff. This is just a rumor. This is fear-mongering. We've been seeing it. We've been seeing what's been going on with the communities. We've been seeing what's going on with the LGBTQIA community, the Jewish community, the black community, the indigenous community. There is threats upon minorities and marginalized populations, and we're not talking about this. They literally issued a domestic terrorism warning on every marginalized population. This is the time. This is what we have to do now. We have to fight. The TikToks and the awareness, this is cool, but now, they are threatening the livelihoods of marginalized population. All I see is crickets on this damn app. Very few y'all talking about this. This is time to stand up. Put them bootstraps up, baby. You already know what time it is. Razzle dazzle.